You're going to have to do it, aren't you? Start it off again. Start clapping. No. Listen. Okay. I think welcome to the stage. Kangaroos, clothes on.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Hey.
I've had a tough start to the year. Broke up with the girlfriend. Nothing unusual in that. People break up all the time. Bit of an adjustment though. I'm of an age now, late 30s, where I was expecting. Well, I wasn't expecting to be on my own at this age. You get to this age, you lose people. I lost my parents. I lost a close friend a couple of years ago. And you think you're invincible. You think nothing can hurt you anymore. And this breakup really kind of shocked me brutally. I was much older than her. I had Beano annuals older than her. The same day that she was born, the under-11s football team that I was playing for, we were thrown out of our league for fielding me as an overage player. That's how much older than her I was. We were different. You could see that in our dentistry. I was all crooked teeth, black fillings, child of the 80s. She was ceramic fillings, straightened teeth, cap bleached, 90s girl. Yet somehow we clicked. Beautiful girl, Latin American. I think Latinas are proof that taking a country, taking a continent by sheer force can be a good thing. They're the result of 500 years of every race on this planet screwing each other to come up with a composite of the world's most beautiful women. 13 as well as have come from Latin America. No other continent can compete with those stats. I was troubled by the age difference. I was troubled by it. I knew I wouldn't be a last man. It was stupid, unreasonable to expect such a young woman to just spend the rest of her life with one man. But I was looking at the bigger picture. I knew that I'd have someone young enough and strong enough to take on the burden of looking after me when I got old and sick. Because I think your next of kin should be much younger than you. You see these old couples struggling down the street together and you think, my God, who's looking after who here? You hear these stories of some elderly person who died in their sleep. And really what that means is someone woke up next to a corpse. If I was to spend my life with a woman my own age, as soon as she hits 60, I'm pushing hard for separate beds. I've had a difficult life as it is without trying to recover from waking up next to a dead person. I knew that as I got older and my libido dwindled, I'd have to turn a blind eye as she took on a succession of younger and more athletic lovers. I was aware of that. She'd be riding some guy hard in the room above me. I'd be downstairs sleeping on the ground floor by now because I could no longer get up the stairs. I'd be sitting on the edge of my bed covered in liver spots, sat by the emergency cord in case I had a fall, and she'd be getting shagged by some guy born in the 80s with a stupid fringe. I had to accept that. This was a trade-off. I knew I wouldn't be seeing out my final days in a nursing home. I knew that I wouldn't be getting smacked about by care workers that haven't been born yet. That was the important thing. And my dad was a wise man, always told me never lend valuables to partners, particularly hardware. You have an acrimonious split, hardware's the stuff they're not giving back lightly. You're going to have to fight hard to get that back. He said you probably have to get a friend on board, someone to mediate on your behalf. Chances are it could be someone who's always fancied your woman. I think there's always a guy who fancies your woman. He wants, he's just looking for an opportunity to get her. Chances are, if you were in a coma, he's the kind of sneaky guy who'd turn up at your woman's house late at night on the pretext of seeing she's okay, when really a text or a call would suffice. No need for the face-to-face contact. I followed my dad's advice pretty well for the most part, except for the iPod. I had a couple of iPods, hers broke. Felt the pressure to lend her the older iPod. Not a very giving guy, don't like people using my stuff. Didn't want to do it, lent it to her, never got it back. As much as I want the iPod back, I know that's not a good enough reason for getting back together with someone. I've never gotten back together with anyone before. I think once something's broken, the trust is gone. There's a space in your heart for new people who are creeping into your lives. You can never talk about what you did during the separation. It's very awkward. Never done it, never want to do it. You're in contact with bad women as soon as you're single. You're drawing up short lists of women you want to sleep with. You've got your realistic targets, you've got your fantasy targets, and you've got those kind of third category women that, if you don't hit either target, you're going to go for whatever, one night stands. If we did get back together, I'm devious enough to hold back on any new bedroom moves I might have acquired during the separation. I'm a dishonest guy, I'm very honest about that. Even this being here on stage, this is a consequence of telling someone some years ago that I was a stand-up. They started Googling me, couldn't find any videos, couldn't find any reviews. They were onto me, basically. So no option but to start doing this. So yeah, I'm devious enough to affect some bedroom rustiness. Just put in a couple of bad performances early on in the bedroom to allay any suspicion she might have. Just say to her, sorry baby, it's been a while. I don't think she'd be the same with me. I think she'd want to show me what I'd been missing. She'd come at me with a full range of bedroom moves. Seeing something, I'd be saying, oh, that's new, that's different, or that's a variation on something we do. I'd be devastated, wouldn't be happy with that. And of course, if we were going to go for the permanent reconciliation, she's going to want to get me tested before I go anywhere near her. She's going to suspect I've been up to no good. I can't just let her send me to the clinic on my own to get tested. You know, if I'm getting tested, she's getting tested. If I put this to her and she's not protesting, I know that she's been up to no good either. And what are we going to talk about in the clinic? What do you talk about in the clinic? You know, once upon a time you were flat hunting, you were talking about having kids. Now you're trying to fish each other out for diseases. What diseases you might have picked up during the break. You know, by both being there in that clinic, in that waiting room, you're both acknowledging that you've done enough to justify being there. It's not a good situation. She wouldn't be talking to me. She'd be mad at me for dragging her down there. She'd be listening to my iPod. I'd want the iPod back. I'd recognise that isn't the time nor the place to ask for the iPod back. If this plays out how I think it has, just weeks after I was off the scene, she probably would have had a call from a friend saying to her, hey, I know this guy's single, really nice guy, not like that Spanish loser you were knocking around with. You know, let me put you in touch with this guy. Told him all about you, he's curious. You know, that's what girls do. They like to matchmate, they like to pair their friends off. You know, does the ex, does she have to really date now? Can she not spend some time on her own and reflect on what went wrong between us and ponder how maybe she can become an easier person to be around? I don't think she'll be up for any reflecting. She won't be up for any pondering. I think she'd be up for seeing this guy. She may even be there to see him, going to see him tonight. You know, she'll be taking my iPod with her. She's not going to look at the iPod and think, this is inappropriate. I could be naked with this guy later on. I can't take this with me. It belongs to my ex-lover. She doesn't have that in her. She'll be on her way to see this guy, playing some upbeat summer sounds on the iPod. She'll be excited. Seeing someone naked for the first time, it's a thrill. Let's not lie about it. We all want to see each other naked just the once. That's the way it works. Guilt at this particular stage cannot compete with thrill. She'll be in that room with him, tearing his clothes off, comparing every part of his body to mine like a game of top trumps. Hair in those categories. I'm walking those. Great head of hair, never going bald. Nose, beautiful nose, 4 lots of rhinoplasty. Each operation more unsuccessful than the previous one, as you can tell. Still very nasal. Arse, got a good toned arse. I think you'd have to have a very muscular arse to take me in the arse category. Stamina. I think that's where he'd get me, stamina. I've been very stressed recently, been mediating on behalf of an old mate trying to get his iPhone back from his ex. They'd actually got back together, they were at the clinic, they were doing the testing thing. He saw her take out his iPhone, demanded it back. She kicked off, they broke up there and then didn't even wait for their test results. So yeah, going back to the ex, she'd be in the room with this guy. They'd have exchanged steamy texts and emails in the run up to this. They'd have exchanged heavily photoshopped pictures of their beds taken at flattering angles. They'd have had phone sex. I'm going to do you. I'm going to slam you. All these aggressive verbs bandied around. You know, I'm going to pound you. I hope you can swim. I'm going to flood your knickers. All this stuff going on. All this stuff going on. Terrible situation. You know, the ex with her new lover, fumbling around with her new lover, and my iPod. You know, my iPod in that same room. Thank you.
Well,
Then you lose 12 pounds.